All right, Hitty, so you can
You
start. We are
ready?
live now on Facebook.
Okay. Hi, my name is Heidi. I am a GK educator, and I have lots of stuff to show you today. I'm very excited. I've been with GK for about 7 years, and one of the things I love about GK is they're always moving forward, trying to get more and more advanced, looking into the chemistry and the science of hair to make it stronger and healthier. And so here today, I have two of their newest products. I have their Lightning Powder Zero and their Lightning Powder Mask. So what's amazing about these two things is so much new technology in them. So I'm excited to go over these with you and show you them. I'm also going to show you a balayage technique that I just did on a mannequin on my girl here. And I'm just going to show you a quick technique that is easy to apply, show you how really nice the product works, and I'll talk about a lot of the new benefits in the products. I also want to introduce you to a couple new other items with GK Hair. We have some new colors added to our color line. So originally we had about 83, then 85 colors in our color line. Now we have 125. So that's pretty exciting to me. So can you guys hear me okay? Am I not mute? Does everybody hear me all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's clear.
Okay.
You
Okay,
you
cool.
can start.
It's the dead silence here, so I'm like, ah. So yeah, so I'm really excited to share these new products with you and show you a balayage technique that I was playing with my mannequin hair. So, like I said, the new lighteners are amazing. We do still have our original lighteners. We have our cream lightener that is amazing for on scalp. It's got a lot of natural oils in them. It's got acai oil in that. So this one is a really nice, gentle, oil-based lightener that is great for on scalp. I feel safest using this on scalp, and I love using it for fragile hair for like balayage because of all the oils and natural things in them. And it has Juvexin in it. So Juvexin is a patented protein blend only by GK. And there's two versions of Juvexin. One is the original, which is derived from sheep's wool, cold pressed. So it's the strongest form of keratin that you can get naturally, and no harm's done to sheeps. GK is an animal cruelty-free company. So that is our original Juvexin. And that is also in our original lightning powder, which is like my go-to for foiling. Anytime I need some good basic lightener, this is my go-to. It mixes beautifully. It's got a blue base to it. So this is a really strong but gentle at the same time lightener, and it's one that I've just really grown fond of. And then we have our balayage clay lightener. This gives it, this one, the Lightning Powder Plus gives about 9 levels as well of lift. It just does what it's supposed to, works like a charm. And then we have the clay lightener, and this one gives about 7, maybe 8 levels of lift depending on the hair. This is designed for a slow, gentle lightening. I love it for like a refresh on a balayage or somebody who's already somewhat light and wants to just get brightened up very gently. This clay lightener is amazing. It has the minerals from clay in it, so it keeps the hair strong and healthy. And it has a really beautiful consistency designed for balayage. And it's the kind that where the outside of it, after you apply it, the outside layer kind of dries, but the inside layer stays damp and keeps working. And then once it's completely dry, that's when it stops working. So it doesn't have a lot of transfer when you're balayage. And so when I first started freehand balayaging, this was really great because of that little outer shell that hardens a little bit. There was not transfer, and I didn't have to worry as much until I got my skill level picked up. So this is a really great product for that as well. But now we have the two new lighteners. So our first one I want to talk about is our Lightning Powder Mask. So this is gold. This is like a golden child. The Lightning Powder Mask has a lot of new things in it. It has meteorite powder. It has diamond powder in it. So I wrote myself some notes because I get all worked up and I get the new stuff all twisted. So let me just tell you about the Diamond Powder Plus has 9 levels of lift, and it is ethically sustainable and from source. The sourcing is ethically sustainable, if I say that correctly. So it has kaolin in it. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which that conditions and moisturizes the hair just like it would do for your skin. It has the meteorite powder, which is rich in minerals. So it has a lot of great ingredients to it. So this one, and it has like a gray hue to it. It has like a light gray hue when you mix it. I'll show you when I do mix it, because I'm going to mix them up for you. So I like that because it's a cool kind of ashy tone to it. It has a really great amount of power. I did find it moves a little slow at first, but it has the power to really stick in there and bring you to that 9th level. So sometimes slow is safer, gentler, and it does, so it has slow and gentle, but it has the power. So this is an amazing new product. I actually was able to experiment with it in Mexico when I went for training, when we first were introduced to it. And the model that was assigned to my group had some old highlight. She was blonde, but not like a beautiful blonde, an okay blonde. And she wanted to be just really a bright, bright blonde. So we used this because we knew it was gentle. It had all kinds of nice things in it. And to be honest with you, we really just wanted to see how it worked. And our model looked fantastic when we were finished with her. She was gorgeous, and her blonde was super gorgeous. And actually, if you saw the picture on Facebook of the advertisement for this class, that was her. That was her face, and that was our model that we use this lightener on. So obviously, by using it, I fell in love with it. It's an amazing product. So I'm going to also talk to you about the Lightening Powder Zero. So Lightening Powder Zero is basically not identical, but the twin to the Lightening Powder Plus. The difference between them really is that the Lightening Powder Zero doesn't have any harsh chemicals. It doesn't have anything that can't be shipped into other countries. So it has gentler ingredients to it, but it works just as well as the Lightening Powder Plus. So hold on, I have some notes on that too. Like I said, I made some cheat notes because when I'm doing two different things, sometimes I can twist them in my head or when I'm presenting them. So the Lightening Powder Plus has the 9 levels of lift. It is it has a nourishing formula for hydration. It leaves the hair strong and healthy. What I liked about it is it had hyaluronic hyaluralized quinoa in it to strengthen and repair damage. And it also had magnesium carbonate hydroxide. I'm like, what the heck's that? So anyway, what it is it helps absorb excess oil. So it helps like clean the hair as it's lifting. So cleaner hair lifts better. So it gives it a little bit more volume. So that was a really cool thing about it. It has a blue base. It's faster acting. So it's, you know, it's a pretty fast acting one. So this one's got like all the power, like I said, from the Lightening Powder Plus. And it's enhanced with pectin. So these two new lighteners are amazing. And like I said, GK just keeps growing and working with science to get things better and better. So I'm like a big fan of both these new lighteners. And they're super affordable too. That's the nice thing. They're super affordable. They have this nice pouch with the little knob that you just pour. Both of them measure the same. It's 1 ounce or 1 part to 2 parts. So 1 part of your lightening powder to 2 parts of your developer. And it mixes beautifully. So I decided I was going to experiment with both of them because, like I said, I did get some really good hands-on with the lightning, with the mask, the lightning powder mask. And I did get like a lot more training with that, but I also did get my hands involved with the Lightening Powder Zero, helping out some of the other girls with their models. So I just wanted to really see what it could do. So I had this model here. I don't know if you guys can see her. Maybe I should raise her up a little. This mannequin she's an oldie. I've had her a long time. She's super stubborn, and we've tried to keep her long because we like to use her for doing upstyling. But mannequin hair, you can tell by her natural base color, mannequin hair comes with that warm, auburny kind of stubborn hair. But I wanted to do an open balayage on her to see the difference between the two lighteners. So I actually divided her hair in half, and I did a balayage. On one side, I used the Lightening Powder Zero, and on one part, I used the Lightening Powder Mask. And hold on, I made a note on her neck here. Oh, right here. So this is the side I use the lightening powder 0 on, and this is the side that I use the lightening powder mask. So the lightening powder mask is the side that you're looking at right now, but I'm going to try to turn her so you can see that I actually did them side by side. I balayage. I did have to refresh my bowl a few times because this girl has a lot of hair. But I'm just going to show you that they seem like, I was watching them process, and they did seem like they processed a little bit differently. Like I said, one seemed like it took a little bit slower, but at the end of, by the time they were both done processing, they were both like beautiful. So what I did was, like I said, I went right up the middle because I really wanted them like side by side to really see the difference between the two of them. And mixing wise, I measured, but then I have a tendency to just kind of like tweak it a little bit to a consistency that I like to work with. Because, you know, sometimes you like it a little looser, sometimes you like it a little bit thicker. So I mix it according to the directions, and then I would tweak it if I felt the need to. But I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see some of my balayage technique in here, and you can also see how beautiful, and they match pretty good. You know, this isn't something I would try on a human. That's why I have the mannequin here. But I really wanted to compare the two as far as strength and how they look when they were done. And I was super, super impressed. And I was really actually pretty impressed with the whole technique of doing the application. So I have a mannequin prep to show you that application. I'm going to mix up some lightener, and I'm going to show you how I applied it. So I did, like I said, I went all the way up her head doing my application. And I, you know, what's nice about it is you, as you're balayaging, you're freehanding, it's your art, it's your technique, it's your vision. And sometimes you start one way, and as you're working, you kind of change your mind a little bit, but that's what makes it you, that's what personalizes it. But again, she has really stubborn mannequin hair, and I wanted to see how well it worked. I did use the 40 volume, and honestly, for a mannequin, I was really, really impressed with that. I did carve out a section on the top here, and I used foils, and I did do foils, half of them with one and half with the other, to see how they performed in foils as well. And again, I was very, very pleased. I don't know if you guys can see but I did go in and I foiled with her, so she would have the lighter streaks blending in. So I guess it's a balayage foliage kind of thing. I did the foils just in this top area. 2 reasons. One, it was the last section I applied it to, and I thought incubating it would kind of bump up the time a little bit so that it would all process and be done at the same time and come to the same level, and it worked. So that was amazing. I did do balayage all in through here on the sides, and again, this one is, I had to break it. So this one is your lightning powder plus, and this one is your lightning powder mask 0. So I hope you guys can see that, but her color is really gorgeous. Now, I did not tone her at all. I didn't even use purple shampoo. I really wanted to see truly what the tones would be when I finished with her. And then I decided that what I will do is I'm going to show you guys my technique I used. But while I'm doing this, I want you to think about what you would do for a toner for her. And I'm also going to talk to you about a few of our new colors and a couple of toning possibilities. So I'm going to set her aside. I just first want to add that I think she came out gorgeous. If you would have seen her before, she was very deep. If you can see her base color, like right in here, she's very, very deep. So this gave her a really gorgeous, soft look. I was pretty impressed with it. I loved how both of them worked for my balayage. So I'm going to set her aside. I'm going to bring over my mannequin that I'm going to demonstrate. Obviously, she's not as full of hair, but I'm running low on mannequins in my closet. So I figured I could show you the technique, and you've got a visual of what hers looks like. So I think between the two, you'll get it. You'll appreciate what I'm showing you. So I'm going to mix a little bit of both, and I'm going to show you what I did as far as one on each side. But then once I get going, I'm probably just going to use one bowl because it takes a little bit more concentration to focus. Okay, left side is this, right side is that. And I've got a lot of information in my head to share with you, and there's a good chance I just mess it up anyway. So I'm going to start with mixing up my lightning powder mask. So I'm going to put it on my scale. And again, it's 1 to 2. So I'm going to pour my powder in here, and as I pour it in, I'll show you it once I mix it up. So according to this, I have 15 grams of the powder. You see that? It's like a nice gray, ashy hue to it. You can tell there's meteor powder in there. So that's 15 grams. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add 30 grams of my 40. Now, you notice how I just kind of tilt my bottle? Whenever I go to use something that's been sitting, I kind of tend to give it a little shake or a little jiggle. I like the ingredients to kind of all be mixed. I don't want to shake it up like I'm making a cocktail, but I do want to give it a little shake. It just gets everything mixed up because there's also Juvexin in here. There's keratins and proteins, and I just want everything to get all squished together nice and neatly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get 30 grams of the lightener in there. All right, that looks a tiny bit more. My scale has just had a little slight delay, so I'm just going to put a dab of this in there just because it came to 38. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there to bring it up. I'm not best with math, but if you're good with math, this is great. You can use grams, you can use ounces. I do use my scale every time I mix anything. I feel like it just keeps everything the same. When you mix in a color, your color is going to come out the same every time. So I always use my scale. And I'm just going to stir this up, and I'm going to show you the consistency of it when it's mixed properly. And again, once it's mixed properly, if you have a preference and you like it this way or that way, you can tweak it a little bit, but it's designed to have best results when you're mixing and using it properly. But, you know, I'm a hairdresser, and hairdressers know hairdressers that we like to play around and experiment or tweak things to our life. So here's the mixed product. And you can see it's a really nice gray hue to it. It's got a really, it's not blue. It's just got a nice, like, light ashy hue to it. So what I like about it, that being this tone, is I've tried using the black charcoal lightener because I tend to experiment a lot. And I liked how it worked, but I didn't like when I had to check to see how it was processing because it kind of masked what the tone of the hair was going to be. So this is a light enough hue to it that I can still see what level my hair has lifted up to. All right, so now I'm going to mix up my lightening powder zero.
Heidi?
Yes?
Heidi, we have a question.
Okay.
We have Joanne here who's she's asking that are both lightning powders gray color?
No, I was actually just going to show you this one. It's got a blue base to it. So the lightning powder mask has the gray hue to it because it has that diamond dust and the meteor minerals in it. And then the lightning powder zero has the blue base to it. And I'll show you that. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that one up as well to show you. Was there another question?
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Just the one right as of now.
Don't mind me with the glasses. I'm getting old and my sight's starting to go away with the reading. I just want to be precise. I'm not guessing anything here today. All right, so again, I'm going to do, I'm going to do about the same, 15 grams of the lightening powder. And I'll show you it before I mix it, that it is blue. See, it's got like a nice blue base to it. It's a light blue, baby blue. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my 40 volume. Now you can add, if you feel the need to, especially if you're going to be overlapping a lightener or whatever, you can go ahead and add your shield lightener in. Your shield additive. So let me mix this up first, and then I'll tell you that. See, this is why I write notes, because I tend to jump ahead in my brain. All right, so I need 30 grams of my lightener, like developer. My scale has a slight delay, so don't mind me. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to mix this one up, and I'll show you the really pretty color of this one. So the blue obviously helps keep things cool when it's lightening as well. So again, some of it is going to be like personal preference. Some of it's going to, you know, because they both perform beautifully. But it's nice to have the options. So here's the blue. This is the pretty blue. So you see that? So it's really nice. So
Yeah.
I just realized I was talking about the Juvexin, and I remembered I was telling you that, you know, the original Juvexin is derived from sheep's wool with keratin. What I didn't talk about was the V2, the Juvexin 2. So that is, the keratin is derived from quinoa and pea. So it's their vegan formula. So a lot of things nowadays are vegan, and GK is right on board with that. And we have our vegan products. Our new lighteners are vegan. Our new color, the color line as of the beginning of this year is all vegan. Everything's going to have that the Juvexin 2 in there. Again, quinoa and pea. And it all performs the same. It's all wonderful. Everything works just as well as with the original keratin in it. So you do have an option there too. Like I said, GK is always like thinking ahead, moving ahead. The science behind everything is so strong. So it makes me really excited when something new comes out, especially like even like the new Juvexin. I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that before I kept going, because I do tend to skip around. That's why I have my notes. And okay, so I have my two things, and I always wear gloves. So I have my two bowls mixed up, and I have my gloves. And I mean, for the many years, I didn't wear gloves, but I'll tell you what, if you have the chance to wear your gloves while you're working, wear your gloves. And I also always have, I keep one of my bamboo brush. I don't know if you ever watched a bamboo technique, but we have beautiful bamboo brushes. I love this baby brush. I have multiple uses for it. And one of it is when I'm doing a freehand like this with a different lightener than the bamboo technique, this makes a perfect eraser. So what I mean is if I'm applying my lightener and I get a mishap or like, you know, a plop of lightener where I don't want it, I keep a dry brush and I wipe it right off and then erase it. And so I always have one of these on hand. So as you can see, I sectioned her out from my application, and she has a little bit smaller head, so it will go a little quicker than how long it took me to do the application on my longer girl over there. So I did do like a little horseshoe on the top section, and that is where I was going to do my foils. And then I sectioned from the top of her ear up, and I took the sides out. And then I went across the back and I made 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So what's nice about this is you can take these sections and subsection them and make them smaller, or you can go ahead and you can use the section size that you pick when you make your original sectioning and clip it. I'm going to keep it the same because I kind of took a little bit of that bamboo balayage that Enrique Longo showed us, and I took a little bit of his influence in my technique. So basically what I did was I always keep my comb on hand, my rat tail comb, and I divided it in half. And so even if I wasn't going to use 2 different lighteners, I decided this is the technique I'm probably going to use in the future a little more often. But anyway, I divided it in half. I'll try to turn so you can see. And then I literally just took the whole section, and like the bamboo balayage, I applied heavily all to the outside of it. I didn't penetrate or push the lightener into the middle of my thick section. I just applied it to the whole outside. So I have the Lightening Powder Zero, and I applied that to the outside of this. And you can see I'm doing very light, like feather type application to the section. And I try to keep all my strokes going outward, not in towards her scalp, but outward. And again, I just want to get right up close. If I do find myself doing a little backstroke, I swing back down and bring down any kind of fuzz that I would have caused. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip my brush again. And I'm going to lift up. Now keeping tension. I'm keeping tension. And I'm going to lift up and I'm going to lightly paint underneath. keep in mind, if she wears her hair in a ponytail, she's going to want some lightness under here. And you can see I'm very lightly applying with my brush, but I'm putting on a good coating of the lightening powder. And then I'm going to just make sure I like how that all looks. And then I'm going to bring it down. Now there's sometimes, depending on what you want for a result, you can just do the outside of those ends, or you can really saturate that if you wanted to have like an ombre kind of effect to it. And then let that drop. If I didn't like an application spot, I can go in with my little dry brush and just remove what I don't like. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this section and I'm going to show it to you with my lightening powder mask. And you can see the color difference as you apply it. It has a little bit more of a grayer hue to it, but it's not a dark gray. So as when I put the brush on the hair as I stroke down and I lift up as I bring it back up to get to the top. I like to go in and like really personalize my application. And honestly, it's kind of fun doing the balayage. At first, I was very intimidated by, oh my gosh, it's freehand, I'm not guided, I don't have structure. But then after you do a few of them, you're like, wow, it's so soft and natural and pretty. I'm just gonna pick up because like I said, she wears a ponytail. You want to get right in there, and I'm very delicately applying. I'm not pushing it into the center of my section. I'm just coating the whole entire outside of my section. Now, how wet or how much you put on there is going to matter. So you want to make sure you have a nice damp application on there, because we all know that when lightener dries, it stops. So in order to get the lightest amount of effect, we want to make sure we have enough on there to keep it damp for a while. So the nice thing I found with that, a little bit of science, is the closer to the scalp, you have a little bit more body heat. So if you go in there with a little bit finer touches and making finer lines, it will process a little quicker. So you don't have to worry about those finer ones drying up too fast and not getting that nice lightness close to the base as if you were applying thicker down here and letting that process. I hope that makes sense. Just the way my brain works, I start thinking about all these really weird, crazy things. So then I just did the two sections, and I literally just worked my way up her head, back, and I just kept dividing them into two. Now, if I got to a section that I felt was too big, did I break it up? Yep, you can break it up. You can section it off. You can, if you wanted a bolder effect, you could break your sections up again into another. So you have quadrants instead of halves. But honestly, you do get quite a bit of an effect when you're doing it this way, just half and half. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do another with my 0. And I tend to start not at the top of my section. I like to start like somewhere mid-range, and then I work my way up to closer to the scalp. And I do like to keep my brush wet. And that's why what I was saying about how you can tweak it if you want to tweak it. Some people like a little bit looser when they balayage. When you first start out a little bit looser, you worry more about having like transfer. But then after you get the hang of it and you get the feel for placement and letting it drop comfortably, you don't worry about it as much. So it's everything is customizable. This whole, you know, process, balayage, it's customizable. That's exactly what balayage is. It's a customized lightening effect for each individual that comes into you. So again, I'm picking up that section and I'm getting right in there. This one here, I'm doing a pretty good outside coating because this is my section up from where her hairline is. So I want to get some color in there. So keep in mind, wherever is in the middle of this section is going to stay dark. So it's going to give depth and lightness all at the same time. I'm going to come in and I'm going to coat that outside. Again, some people like to really saturate that end and make it completely saturated all the way through, so you have a more of a balayage effect. That is, again, going to be a personal choice. I'm going to go ahead and, so that is the application for the lightening powder 0, and then I'm going to do it with the lightening powder mask. Like I said, I loved playing with the two of them. I really enjoyed watching them process. With my mannequin that I have showed you earlier, I did process that for about 50 minutes. Again, she's a mannequin. She's very stubborn. So on a human, unless you have a human that has hair similar to a mannequin, you probably won't have to go that long. But it's nice to know that if you do, that inside these lighteners are all those wonderful ingredients that I spoke to you about, the hyaluronic acid, all kinds of great things for your hair. And again, you can always add that shield additive. The shield additive is amazing in anything. Right, here's the shield additive. This you can add to anything. You can add it to your color. You can add it to your lightener. You can add it to your conditioner to give a deep conditioning treatment. It takes 10% of your formula. So we mixed up about 45 grams total. So I would add 10% of that would be what, 4.5 grams? Listen, I'm not good at math. You're going to have to do the math for me. But anyway, 10% of your formula. And you stir that right in, and it doesn't change the consistency. It doesn't change how well it lightens. It doesn't slow down your process. It just adds more keratins and proteins and healing power to whatever you're doing. So I love having that at my, at my fingertips for when you have somebody come in, you have a customer come in and you really want to give them that treatment and you just want a little bit more security, knowing that you're making their hair just as healthy, if not better, while you're balayaging them. So I'm checking, trying to keep tension, and just keep moving that hair section and putting lightener where I want it. Just want to spread that out a little bit more. So you can see I have a nice application on both sides. Because again, it's like for each section, we're doing double time. The underneath and the top. And then the inside is going to remain with depth. So that is my application on that side with my mask. And then again, I just came in again and just sectioning it like this, pre-hand saves so much. I'm not clipping the hair, twisting it out of my way while I'm trying to work. It saves time. And I also over the years have found that the client in the chair, they really actually like when you're using clips and sections. They like when you're planning out what you're doing. They feel way more secure in your chair. They feel a lot more comfortable with your knowledge. And that's half the battle. When someone's in your chair, you want them to be happy with you and your process, because you could be a really messy applicator and have a gorgeous outcome. They may not love it as much, even if it looks exactly the same as if you took sections and you cleaned it out and made them feel more secure the entire time they're sitting in your chair. So this one's going to be the lightening powder 0 again. And this is a pretty good size section, but we like to try to keep a little bit of depth up in here anyway. But I also am aware of the hairline. We want to pay attention when we're applying to the hairline. Want to make sure when we're applying it to the hairline, we go right up to her hairline. So when she pulls her hair up, she will have a really nice effect. So it's not a whole lot different than a basic balayage technique, but it does save a lot of time. And it comes out gorgeous. And like the mannequin that I displayed for you, she has so much hair, and I thought it was going to take me forever to just play around with it and experiment. And I was really impressed with my time frame. We want to work smarter, not harder, right? And that's what's nice about these products. They are designed to help us have the best outcome. So along with our skills and the right products, we have the best possible results. And not only do I want my client to be happy, I want to be happy with what walks out my door. Is there any more questions as far as product-wise or anything like that?
Not so far, Eddie.
Not so far? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can
I will
use,
let you
what's
know.
that? Go ahead.
I will let you know
Okay,
if I'll get
great.
any questions. Thank
Okay.
you.
I just want people to feel comfortable to ask questions. I don't want them to feel like, what is the saying? The only really dumb question is a question not asked. Is that the right saying? Something to that effect. And honestly, if people ask me questions, it makes me sometimes remember something I meant to talk about while I'm doing this. So I am very, very open to being questioned. I never look at it as a challenge from them. It looks sometimes I'll take it as a personal challenge from myself to come up with the answer. But that's all good. So we can use I'm using 40 volume because again, I'm working on a mannequin and mannequins are super stubborn, but we have developers, our developers range from an 8, we have 10, 20, 30, and 40. So all of our developers are designed to give us everything we need. I keep looking at that one spot and I'm not sure if I love it, so I'm just gonna thin it out a little. There we go. And I like how that looks. So let's lay that down. Add a little bit more to the bottom. So I'm still working off that original bowl that I mixed up. When I worked on the mannequin that I showed you originally, I had to refresh my bowl a couple of times. But I honestly didn't. I keep everything right at my fingertip. I always have like extra combs, extra clips, extra everything at my fingertips because I have a gravity problem. I drop things a lot, so I know, I'm not going to bend down and get them. But I also don't want to be running off in the back room if I need something. So I keep everything close by. And I always keep a comb on hand because I like to make sure that there's not a lot of tangles. You get a way better result when you're combing out the hair and you're keeping it untangled and clean and neat with your sections. And I don't know if you noticed, but everything I'm using is GK. GK has everything I need. They have everything from, my vent brush, which is full of mannequin hair, my vent brush, my comb. This is GK comb. Everything that I have, my clips, these are amazing clips. I don't like to work without them. But GK has everything that I need. I don't have to outsource at all. And even the aftercare, I love the take-home products from GK, and we have the Color Safe Moisturizing Shampoo and Conditioner that I love to send my guests home with. We have the vegan CBD shampoo and conditioner. So again, if vegan is an important part of what you're looking for, we have that, which is an amazing shampoo. And actually, some of the results of feedback I've gotten on the CBD shampoo is that they love how it works on their hair, but they are loving how it feels on their scalp. And I don't know if that was what GK intended on when they came out with the CBD shampoo, was how the effect it would have on the scalp. But if it isn't, then what a bonus, because people just love how it feels. And again, my daughter was vegan for a very long time, so I did learn a lot about, I guess the frame of mind, because when it's your daughter, I don't know about most people, but my daughter's pretty brutal, and she says it like it is. So she would correct me quite a bit when I was misunderstanding things, and so I understand how important when somebody is vegan, it is to accommodate them. I've actually got some really great recipes now for vegan pumpkin spice bread and all kinds of cool stuff. But it's just nice to know that there's something for everybody available for us. Let's check that. So you can see I'm kind of tilting my brush almost to use it like the tip of a pen when I'm coming close. And then I turn it sideways, almost like a paddle, to apply it thicker on the shaft. And that's just a little trick I picked up, and I don't even remember which training I went to, but I'll tell you what, it's made a big difference in my whole applicating of the balayage. It made life so much easier. Actually, the one trick that I talked about with the using the brush for an eraser was a lifesaver for me, because I was always paranoid about getting whitener in the wrong spot. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then when somebody showed me, I could just go in and erase it. Like, oh, that's amazing. So it made my life so much easier and made me so much bolder when it came to doing my balayage. So there are my two sides. And you can see that they apply pretty similar. You can see a little bit of the difference in the tonage as far as the ashy side and the blue. And I just kept going up, and this will be the top section here for the back. And again, you know, you're keeping in mind, where do you want the depth? Where do you want it to be lighter? And then I'll show you how I did the side. I just did like a little bit of a zigzag effect on the sides. Well, let's get this top section done. And again, balayage is meant to be soft and organic, so it doesn't have to be exact. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. I just like to show it nice and clean and neat. It just works better. It looks better when you're behind the chair. I worked behind the chair for so many years, and I love when somebody's sitting in the chair next to you and they're looking at you, watching you, and going, wow, that looks so good. Like it gives you a lot of self-pride. You know, you're like, yeah. Inside you go, yeah, I'm doing a good job. But outside you're like, thank you. You know, so presentation in the salon is a big deal. I know a lot of people work in salon suites now, so they don't really have that option, but you know, people walk by, look in the window. I visited a few suites on my day, and people do like to see. People get really fascinated watching a hairdresser work. It's funny. Take that a little. There we go. So I didn't, like I said, I did not tone my girl. I'm going to show you some options that we have for toning. And then I haven't decided. So after the class, if you've watched the class and it's, you know, you want to comment below ideas on what I can do to tone her, either one of these girls actually, I want you to comment and let me know, and I will try. I'll pick a couple of techniques, do one on this girl and one on my longer haired model, and tone them. But first I'm going to show you some ideas. I have some different ideas. You don't necessarily have to use a color toner. You can use a conditioner. We have leave-in conditioner. We have the bombshell mask.
Hi, Heidi. Am I audible to you?
Hello?
Am I audible to you?
Say that again?
Am I audible to you?
I can barely hear you. I'm sorry. It's breaking up.
Okay, we have a question right now.
Oh, okay. Let me have the question.
Okay, the question is, what is the difference between lightening powder mask and the lightening powder zero?
Lightening powder mask and the lightening powder zero. A lot of it is the ingredients. They work very similar. They have really great power. They both have about 9 levels of lift. But let me get my cheat notes out because, like I said, I want to keep it straight. So lightening powder zero has the hydrolyzed quinoa amino acids to strengthen and repair damaged hair. It has the V2, the vegan 2 Juvexin. It has magnesium carbonate hydroxide, which helps absorb excess oil and add volume. This is all for the zero. It has the blue base. It's fast acting. It leaves the hair strong and healthy. It's enhanced with pectin in it. So that's the lightening powder zero. That is the blue one. The mask, the lightening powder mask. The lightening powder mask has the diamond dust in it, the meteorite powder, which is rich in minerals, nourishing and strengthening for the hair. It has kaolin, which is gently cleanses the hair and helps remove dirt, leaving the hair clean and fresh. It has, like I said, the 9 levels of lift, the diamond powder in it. It has this thing called Perella oxamides seed oil. I don't know what that is, but it's an antioxidant that protects the hair from environmental damage and moisturizes in conditions. So they both have really wonderful additives, ingredients in them. They both have beautiful lift. They just have a little bit different as far as what they have for benefits in them. But they both are, they're both amazing. They both are. Did that help?
Yeah, fine. Okay, we have one more question about this.
Okay.
What should I do if I want a hair lift of more than 9 levels?
If you want more than 9 levels of lift, there's a few things you could do depending on the hair you're working on. I would first of all incubate. So if you want to, instead of doing something like I'm doing with open air, you want to incubate with, like, say, foils. You want to take small sections in your foil, baby fine sections, and I would, use your 40 volume, and just that will bring you lighter and lighter and lighter, because you're having that incubation will help give it a little bit more strength, and you can keeps it moist longer, so it will keep processing longer. So if you want to go more than the 9 levels, if you really want to push it, you definitely need to incubate with foils. And again, if you're going to push that far, you definitely should add some shield additive in there to help rebuild and repair the bonds as you're lifting, so you're not damaging the hair by pushing it past its level that it should go. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but you can incubate with either one of these. Like I said, on the top section up here, I did go in and I foiled. So give this top section the ability to process a little faster to catch up with the application I had done on the rest of her hair. So that's what we're going to do. It's all about, when you think about lightener, it's all about your sectioning, your application. If you're going to incubate, so if you're incubating, it's not adding heat, but it's helping hold heat. So heat will help process better too. We don't recommend adding heat, but by incubating, the body heat will help keep it, give it more strength. And also by incubating, it helps, like, put a little blanket on there to keep it a little bit warmer rather than the air that's in your salon. All right, so let's go. This is going to be the lightening powder mask side. You guys see everything okay with the application? Because my square that I see myself is so small. It's like a postage stamp. So I can't look at it and go, yep, they see it good. So I'm hoping it's good. So like I said, I used the very tip of my brush, like a little bit of a pen. But I had a little bit more product on there than I was prepared for. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to erase a little bit and make it how I want it to be. So that, it makes it so that, you don't have to worry about, oh no.
Okay, we have just 11 minutes left right now.
Okay. We have what right now? I'm sorry?
11 minutes left right now.
Oh, 11. Okay. Well, then let me, that went by fast. So let me just go ahead and keep applying this one section, and then I should show you, I'll mimic to you real quickly the sides, and then I will talk to you a little bit about our new colors in the and what I did for toning, what I would do for toning, or your options for toning. Okay, so what I did was, for my application on my sides, once I got the whole back applied, I came in and I did a zigzag. So I started and made like a pie shape this way and applied the same way, the whole section. And then I went, let's see if I can get in there. You can see this. I went in and I made another pie, but opposite, so they're like tighter. So I went smaller here and wider this way. And then I applied another, like I showed you in the back. And then I went wider to smaller this way. So it makes a zigzag pattern. So it falls softly. I'm all about leaving like triangles in the hair. And I just applied just like I did the rest of this. And then up on the top section, when I got up to this section here, let me pull her over. This section here, I did foils. And I just went in with baby foils. And I used the same bowl. I just pulled out my foils and did a nice baby lights all the way through the top. So that was how I applied my girl's balayage that I showed you. So then, like I said, I didn't tone her, so I kind of left it open to decide what I wanted to do. So there's a couple of options. Because we have a new color line, like I mean new colors in our color line. So we have 125 colors now. And I just wanted to experiment with a couple of the new ones. And so this girl here, I had played with a while ago and I made her really chunky. So I thought she'd be a really great opportunity to go in there and try some of the new colors on. So one of our new colors is this 6.82, which is like a brown chocolate with a little bit of violet in it. So I took one of her blonde sections and I applied it to this piece here to see what it would do. And I got like a really pretty, like chocolatey, violet color. It's exactly what it was described to be. And then I also went into this section here and I did our new 7.12. And you can see it was just very, very ashy and very cool. But I feel like it's still a little deep for what I wanted to do for a toner. But I did want to see what that looks like. Yes.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I've got a question here. With a 3.4 fluid ounce bottle, right? And with this here, the same hair length, how many colors can a client do with that 3.4 fluid ounce of tube?
I'm sorry. Can you say that a little bit slower?
Yeah, so with a 3.4 fluid ounce color, right?
Yes.
And if a client applying, if a salon owner or individual hairstylist is applying the color on the same hair length that you are showing, how many colors can she do on this same length? Like, can she do it on two different hairs or what?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, this is again, that's all your creativity. You can create and do whatever you want. I just wanted to demonstrate what they look like right out of the tube, but they are intermixable, interchangeable. They are, there's different ones. Our mixed tones are designed to add two color to either emphasize or mute color. So you can be very creative with that for sure. It's all about what you want to do. And if you have any question or doubt or anything like that in the swatch book, in our swatch book, you see we have this color wheel. And this color wheel shows you exactly where any color lives in our color line. So you can formulate just by saying like, oh, this color lives here and that color lives there. And if I mix the two, I'm going to get something here in this level. So everything is mapped out right in this color wheel. So you can intermix them and create whatever you want with confidence with the color swatch, with the color wheel in here.
So if a client, let's say if she's doing a color which is a 1.00 or 1, which is our supernatural black color, right? Now
Yep.
she's not mixing any kind of color, right?
Right.
And let's say if she wants to do a color on the same hair length that you're showing here, so how many, like what would be like, can she do two colors on two different hairs, like out of that one tube, out of that one 3.4 fluid ounce tube?
I guess I'm really not understanding the question. Yeah, if you're asking me if you can put that over 2 different color hair, yes, you can. The 1.00 is double pigmented, so that will fill in something that's pre-lightened as well as darken anybody with natural pigment, if that's the question. I think I'm just not catching what you're looking for that. But the result on that, you know, the 1.00 is like super dark black. It's like the darkest you can get. So you can intermix that with something else to darken it as well, because they are interchangeable. If you're asking about lightening over it, then that would take a little bit more. I think you would need to incubate over it. I think you would need to foil rather than freehand. If you were to do the balayage, in between each section, I would put some saran wrap or a foil over each section that I did to give it more strength and let it last a little longer, process longer to get a lighter effect from it. If you wanted to go in and alternate with the color, you could do that as well. You could also go in and do like a root touch up with a darker color and then balayage along with it also. It's very versatile.
Yeah, so we can do like how many, like what I'm trying to say is how many applications can we do out of one tube?
Oh, how many applications can you do out of one tube? Well, it depends on what you're doing, obviously, but it's a 1 to 1.5 ratio when you're mixing your color. So for every ounce of color that you use, you need 1.5 ounces of your developer. So for a basic root touch-up, sometimes that's all I need is like the 1 ounce of color and the 1.5 ounce of developer, and I can do a basic root touch-up with that. If I'm doing more than that, I'll just double it up. And so I will use 2 ounces to 3 ounces of developer. So you can, depending on what you're making, that tube holds a lot of color when you think about you're mixing it with 1.5 ounces of developer. Is that more of what you were looking for an answer?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I wasn't sure. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah.
So let me
and for the same hair length that you're showing here, it's gonna take one whole tube to do the color on this here that you're showing.
What I'm showing right now is I just took little Dixie cups and I just did little tiny samples just to put on each section just to show what they would do. I didn't mix the whole amount up. I literally just took Dixie cups and I weighed out, and I forgot exactly how much, but like 1 to 1.5 ratio with the developer. I actually even used a Q-tip and I put the foil on there and I just applied it with my gloves because I was just doing a couple tiny little sections just to see what they would do.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. So I just want to show, I really want to show, I didn't even clip it out. I did the blue on one of the chunks. And because I love the blue mixed tone, just to show you what the blue mixed tone looks like on blonde hair. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me just move this clip over a little. And just to show the vibrancy of the blue on that section that was pre-lightened. You see that? So that was straight up blue mixed tone. And I did 8 volume because I just wanted to deposit. 1 to 1.5 ratio, and I applied that right there, that one foil with the blue, just to show you what it would do. And I just think the blue is beautiful. It really is. And then the other thing I want to show you, when I was talking about the actual toning of my girl, is this little section right here. And this was toned with actually 8 volume and the 10.21. And you see how white that looks? So her hair, this white section, she was almost there. I had brought her up pretty light. But she still has a little bit of a yellow hue to it. So I just wanted to make it a lot more icy. So by doing that 10.21, so the level 10, 2 being iris, 1 being ash, I could get her very, very, very icy. And what I really like about doing it this way is I didn't have to worry about it over processing or over toning or dulling it, because it had the 8 volume, so it was designed to deposit, but it was at a level 10, and it was ashy, a purpley ashy level 10, so it made it super icy blonde. And I hope you can see the difference between the yellowier, which is a nice light blonde, but this right here, this section, it just made it icier and brighter, more of what everyone's looking for, without having to lighten her so much that I'm ready for her hair to break off. So again, you know, there's different options when you have different level developers. You can deposit, you can lift, you can tone. The other thing that I was contemplating toning with possibly was maybe the ultra blonde violet, the ultra blonde mask, conditioning mask that we have, because if you're putting that on blonde hair, it cools down in a yellow as you condition. So when you apply it and then you wash it off, it leaves it very, very cool and very ashy tone. So that is another option for toning. So we don't have to go in and overtone or worry about our color getting dull because we use something that's going to bring it back down after we lightened. So that the colors that we have is such a range of them, like you said, from the 1.00 that is black to the 10s that are the nice sheer level 10 cool that can bring you to that like icy whitish tone. We have the high lift colors, and those, the mixing ratio on the high lift colors is actually 1 to 2. So 1 ounce of color to 2 ounces of 40 volume to get high lift. So the new colors that are in our color line are gorgeous. Our whole color line is beautiful and versatile. And I love our new swatch book. I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to play with the new swatch book, but it's awesome, and it walks you through step by step. So if you're an experienced or a new stylist using this swatch book, you're not going to fail if you follow the directions. You know your underlying pigment, you know your goals. Here are our mixed tones, and here's that blue that I showed you on my mannequin. You see that, how gorgeous that blue is? So, you know, I love having all of this at my fingertips because I can explore, I can play with it. I love to play, obviously, with my mannequins and see what I can do. And it just elevates my skill level. I have a lot of education, but what good is your education if you don't have a product line that's going to follow through for you? So I'm super excited about the new colors and the new lighteners. And I hope you guys enjoyed everything. And if you have any more questions, feel free to comment and I'll check them out. And if you have any suggestions for toning my gorgeous mannequin, this girl right here, or the one that I just did, also message me. Thank you. I know we're out of time.
Okay, Heidi, thank you so much. It was a
Thank
wonderful
you.
class.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You too.